Hello there folks, this is the Marshall and this is bringing you game 2 of this Grudge Match series between Max and UnworthySponge from the realm. A lot of trash talking has led to this and Max won game 1 last time with overwhelming numbers of tanks. Here we have different spawns, however, UnworthySponge spawning towards the northeast relative to Max in the southern west near the equator. Again, UnworthySponge goes bot first after a Mex and a P-gen, very early. Factory indeed there, actually, very early. Max, however, choosing a spawn with a lot of walking space to do. Going to pop on caps there so you can see bot first and air second after the 3 Mex P-gen route. The expansion options for these players quite varied. Max has to go towards UnworthySponge, is probably the easiest bet, unfortunately for him. However, Mr. Sponge can go either north or south, but both away from Max, which is good. Good for him, that is. Queuing up a lot of P-gens from his commander already, lots of fabricators queued as well. Early radar is also good because as soon as you get that and can support it, then as soon as the enemy starts scouting you, you can see roughly where their scout has come from and can make rough guesstimates as to where their spawn is. Which is a good idea to do. Max's commander over here also doing a lot of more P-gens, followed up by an air second. Fabricator coming out, going to get up the expansions, I suspect. Well, that or yeah, the mechs there. Followed up by a few grenadiers, which are going to be his scouts early in the game, just like last. And UnworthySponge getting out vehicle factories already. I think he might have left it a bit late last time, and also perhaps a few too many combat fabs as well early on in the game, probably killed his economy off. But we already have 3 fabs out, and as you can see his economy isn't coping too well with it. It's more the energy than anything else, but he is getting up a couple of mechs, which will bring that metal back less from a deficit. The P-gen's going to be sorting themselves out roughly over time, but things going up very slowly indeed, and the mechs completed, back in positive energy for the time being. Cancelled the vehicle factory, obviously needs the energy to be producing things. Perhaps he managed to just about get his storage sorted out there. Right, so let's pop up picture in picture so we can see Sponge there while we look at Max. Seeing grenadiers going off on the other side of the planet over here, and the fab train, as Roncat likes to call it, expanding towards Mr. Sponge. The grenadier as well, getting ever closer to the scout. We'll follow that in picture from now on, while we just look back at what he's doing here. Getting out some bumblebees as well, followed up by an air fabber, which is going to give him the fast expansions he needs. He's also got a combat fab there, which will probably assist this expansion train. I suspect, perhaps, not entirely sure at this point. The scout almost got off there from Max in the picture. Indeed, there's the bomber scout, but the grenadier did get killed. So Max does at least know exactly where UnworthySponge is. Let's see what he actually managed to see. Oh, he's got the full scout off there with the air unit. See, did he manage to kill anything off? Unfortunately not. He did miss that fabber, which is quite unfortunate. If he managed to get the hit on that fabricator, that would have been a big loss to Mr. Sponge, especially this early on in the game. Or if he even got the combat fab. I think the bomb just dropped just shy of the combat fab there, which is really unfortunate. If it had hit that combat fab, that would have been a massive win to Max, because it meant all of that metal that was invested in that combat fab, and time as well, was completely wasted, null and void. Now lots of vehicle factories going up from Max now towards Mr. Sponge, who's already got vehicles streaming across the map here. Bumblebees as well, heading straight towards the spinner. Not the wisest of choices, because it is going to get shot down. It does do a little bit of damage. That's a couple of bumblebees wasted for not a lot of gain there, unfortunately. What is the air factory doing now? Not a lot. Mr. Sponge beginning to expand on the other side of the planet now as well, which is always good to see. Combat fab here assisting out this factory while Max stays in positive economy. This is really good economy management here from Max, going down a little bit in the mechs, but lots of vehicles coming out now. He is going to need to start to expand a lot faster. Excuse me, a lot faster. The radar there as well, going to warn him on any early impending attacks, which is good as well. Lots more vehicle factories coming up from Sponge. So we're going to have a tug of war in the middle. That seems to be what this patch tends to create generally, is a sort of tug of war, and then it becomes a case of who can sort of divide the other player's forces first, and then that's how you sort of gain a bit of leeway in the tug of war. This tower not going to be too much use, because they're not so great against units now. Losing the Fabber there. Was it the Fabber? I think it was the Fabber, but a Grenadier goes down as well. Attack targeted on the tank there, getting lost in the turret about to go down as well. Indeed it does. A little bit of wreckage, just saving Sponge's vehicle there. Quite unfortunate for Max that that wreckage was in the way. Gosh, a lot of good work those few vehicles did, and even stopped that little defensive line there. But instead the expansion continues from Max, as it does so from Sponge, who's gaining a lot of map control actually. And I suspect, ooh, very nice, getting up a cheeky energy line on the other side of the planet here. Nice and safe, because he knows that Max is probably going to be focusing on that front line. Indeed he is, with all of these vehicles rolling out of the factory now. I suspect we might even see Mr. Sponge go around the back here and build a few factories, either towards the north where there's a few more mechs, or indeed probably down here, I guess, is even a possibility where that little mechs field is. But we have this vehicle here being a real nuisance to this mech site. What I'm going to do is I'm going to position the camera over here so we can see the progression, and use this camera here, which is single vehicle takes down a mechs. Very nice indeed. Good work there. Just hampering Max a little bit, although he does have masses more metal. 32 more metal by the look of it. No, 35. There we are. But Sponge is continuing to expand, and more vehicles putting in good work here. Lots of good raiding by these ants. Very good indeed. And what's this over here? Another bit of, well, that was short-lived. An attempted scout, I guess, but now, of course, Max does know, I believe, that there are lots more vehicle factories going up. What does Sponge know about Max? Not a lot. He hasn't actually scouted very much at all, although the units are beginning to circulate in. And here is the idea of the radar. Really good, but that's a lot of ant-CCs coming towards him. He's going to need to get out some Infernos quick, sharp. I suspect we might even see a couple change over to Infernos, at least I hope we do, because otherwise there's not enough ants there to even cope, because he's got too many spinners coming out into the field when he's not being raided enough with air, using a lot of resources into those spinners, which isn't wise. Let's have a look back at what both players can see now. Masses of ants coming in from Max. I think this game might go to Max as well, although UnworthySponge putting up a pretty good fight here between on his home turf, just about managing to survive just a little bit in order to get out a few more Infernos, but he does need those Infernos pronto. I'm surprised he hasn't even transitioned to them yet. Commander being forced onto the front lines as well. We even got Combat Fabber and Fabricators sort of left idle here as well. Commander could probably get off a good Uber Cannon and take most of those out, but the Combat Fab does not want to die. He's getting dangerously close to those ants. Still the spinners reclaimed an ant there from the Combat Fabber. Very nice. Unfortunately, he does go down. He probably could have run away there and saved himself a bit of bother, because the commander has come onto the front lines, of course. But he does need to transition away from spinners. They're not putting in the time and money that time and resources that were spent on them. Max now conglomerating very big force on his sort of front lines there. And he's even got some grenadiers ready to follow that up as well. Let's have a look at expansions quickly. You can see that Mr. Sponge is getting this sort of staging post here. It's not really going to be viable. That's too long a travel distance there, and he really needs to be focusing on what this front is doing here, because Max is definitely a force to be reckoned with at this point. He's got 6 vehicle factories, though Mr. Sponge has almost got the same. This one's about to decay fully, unfortunately. There it goes. So he's got the same number. They are finally now all producing ants. However, they were before producing spinners, which, you know, you still got a few mixed in there, but they need to transition to Infernos at this point. The commander is sat on the front lines, idle, unfortunately. He could probably be doing a little bit of energy or indeed factory production, but there needs to be some sort of concerted effort here from both players to actually build a bit more power in terms of both military and economy. Max now engulfing all of these ants with his superior numbers, managing to focus fire. Spinners, the last of the spinners going down as well. Let's go down into dynamic camera and see what we can see. So, and there we are, some Infernos coming out onto the field at long last from UnworthySponge, taking out a few units on the side. Oh my goodness, that noise. Painful. Commander also on the front lines, building himself a few walls here. It's going to be pretty good, actually, a pretty good last minute defense strategy, because the commander, of course, can take a lot of hits. There's a really good, powerful force on the front lines. Here we see an Inferno sort of wandering off into the distance. I wonder what that is doing. But just not too far away from that, we do see ants going up as well. More expansions planned. Spinners getting a little bit of scouting. And Max's force here. Lots and lots of vehicles, lots of air units as well. He could probably transition to bumblebees there if he really wanted to. Combat Fab assisting all of these very nicely. He can even afford it as well, which is even better. He could probably transition to bumblebee spam if he really wanted. How many? Oh, that's not Combat Fab. It's like one side, one half of the Grenadiers from a distance to me looks roughly like a combat fab. What's Max's commander doing in the distance? It looks like he's just been producing all of this energy here. I wonder what he's moving back to do. Perhaps assist a combat fab route, I'm not entirely sure. Let's go back into the main camera mode and see how the tug of war is shaping up now. We've got the Infernos pressing out in front of the army. Very nice placement of those, soaking up a little bit of damage, allowing his army to get a little bit of headway, though they are getting stuck in the geography here. Hannibal and his elephants sort of trying to cross the Alps. Unfortunately, a larger army is lying in wait to ambush, as it were. So unfortunately, not too much is going to happen here. There really needs to be a more concerted effort. A little bit of lag, unfortunately. I wonder what's going on there. Because the rest of the game's been fine. But the rest of both games, in fact, has been fine, so perhaps the internet's just cut out. All the same, let's have a look at the expansions while we can, just before we get connection lost, which I suspect will happen shortly. You've got the Fabbers here expanding. Don't know what's going on, in fact. It's really quite unfortunate, but we've got Max here with his air fabricator expanding to a lot here, which is good. In the middle of the pond there, nice safe expansions, because Sponge isn't doing too much in terms of the air. In fact, he's not doing it at all. The factory's even was either destroyed or decayed. There we go, caught up. Wow, a little bit of lag there. We'll have to have a quick look back at the front lines there. Looks as though the force was pushed back. There's a little lowly ant here, going to get himself absolutely massacred there, akin to a lawnmower. Except here we see the little side pushes going on, which Max needs to be a little bit more aware of. There's even a spinner there doing a lot of work against a lot of this anti-air. Shot down a good few hummingbirds. Very nice indeed. Max bringing up a T2 air factory. Did UnworthySponge get the scout on that? No, he did not. UnworthySponge has not got enough scouting as to Max's base at the moment. However, he has got units on all different sides now ready to push in and surround. So what he'll probably do is, well, what'll happen here is this force here will move in. Max doesn't have the, well, he does have the radar. I was just about to say, I hope he has radar. In fact, here it's right here. He does see all of these units sat here, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But these from the north are going to push in and take out a fair bit, actually, I suspect. Probably lose maybe a P-Gen or two, perhaps even a vehicle factory. But once the commander's there, the Uber cannons will start going off and defending very nicely indeed. Soon as in range, there it goes, taking out a good number of units there. Very nice work put in by the commander. P-Gen's gone down, the two mechs have gone down as well. Max diverting his forces a little bit. What's going on here? But UnworthySponge, unfortunately, not combining those attacks well enough, because Max does have the radar. So again, the geography really hampering Sponge's attacks. Max not really taking many losses relative to Sponge here at all. And there's the reveal of the T2 air. The Hornets come down with their carpet bombs. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The spinners need to start being built again. Indeed, I suspect you might even want to start converting to a few air units there, Mr. Sponge. Once you've seen that, you should definitely put up an air factory. That commander's still sitting idle, which is not ideal. He could be building power because you're definitely lacking on it. Look at that. Really fluctuating on power. I suspect that's probably because of all of these combat fabs assisting. Wow, that's not particularly efficient there. 5 fabricators building a single factory. You just need 1 and perhaps a combat fab. But of course all the combat fabs are here producing vehicles from the factories. But we have the T2 factory there. Look at the metal from Max. It's gone down. Masses, masses, masses. But of course the energy is still there. Fortunately enough. A couple of Hornets coming out now. Are they still called Hornets? I don't know. Yes, they are. Good, because it's not like the Bolos, the ants, the titanium insects, the Hystericles, the Pounder, the Unit Cannon, the... I don't even know. The Scamper. It's an ant, okay? This thing, this one right here, it's an ant. It's always will be an ant. I don't care whether you think you can step on them or not. I can step on an elephant, it just won't do very much. Anyway, moving away from that rant. Wow, Sponge has expanded to the rest of the planet. Masses! Look at the metal counts on the economy tab there. Sponge could probably move up to T2 vehicles at this point if he really wanted to, and actually be able to afford that, although he does need more energy. His commander is not building enough energy. He needs to be moving that commander to build some form of energy, because the combat fabs are just wasting away that economy with all of these vehicle factories. But Sponge now beginning to outmatch, and whoa, what's this? A flanking maneuver from the commander, catching him out there, down to about 50% health. He needs to pop off an uber cannon. Come on, Max. In fact, carpet bombs coming in, but no, they don't get to drop their payload. Too many spinners in there, shooting down the Hornets. The commander now down to less than a third of his health, down to about 20%. Not wise at all. He's going to start losing build power. The GGs are called from Max, who does not look happy. That's going to make this game a 1-1 in this best of 3 series. Damn. Good game there. UnworthySponge bringing it back after gallantly, you know what I mean, defending early on in that game. Very nicely done. I'm going to see if the players will do a deciding game. Thanks again for watching, folks. Come back next time where we will have the decider with any luck. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to pop any feedback in the comments below, and like if you liked it, and share with your friends if they are interested in PA or enjoy strategy games. Other than that, there's more PA on the way very soon. And as always, thanks again for watching. Have a nice day.